Hello, I'm Howard Phillips Lovecraft, and today's question comes from Mr. Wood, who wants to know my thoughts on Mark Twain's The Mysterious Stranger, and specifically wants to know if the titular character from this book was inspiration for my own rather mysterious mendicant, Nyarlathotep. Daughter. Now, I understand where you see some parallels. In Twain's book, the sinister figure is a self-proclaimed angel who claims to be the nephew of Satan, and is also called Satan, which becomes rather confusing. Luckily, he gives us another name, Philip Traum. And like Nyarlathotep, he is a charismatic figure who seems to be able to control crowds, influence people, and sets about various chains of events that impact lives, and at times he even creates a little bit of madness. But that's really where the parallels end, because while I appreciate what Twain is doing in this story by lampooning religiosity and moral sentiment, he essentially has written a homily, a sermon against the human race, which, while I applaud it, is in and of itself a fairly moralizing act, and one cannot read this book without feeling like one is receiving a sermon. But what's even more fascinating is not the book's story, but the book itself and how it came to be. You see, this book doesn't exist. Well, not as we might think it. Twain never finished his story. He had certain versions that he worked on throughout his life, but never any that he published. There was a Schoolhouse Hill, Number 44, the Chronicle of Young Satan, but it wasn't until another figure came along, a Bigelow Payne, who cobbled together these stories and published what he said was the definitive version based on Twain's old notes. But that was all lies. When they discovered Twain's papers, they found that Payne had forged, had cobbled things together, had made whole additions and changes to the text that were never there. Indeed, it was a rather fascinating forgery that fooled people for decades. And there's something about that ambiguity, that discomfort with not really ever being able to know whether what you're reading is real. And I think within that uncertainty, that is where we find Nyarlathotep. As always, I'm Howard Phillips Lovecraft. Thank you.